Case 1. The Cracker Barrel Knock.
Know her, please leave me be.
This is Sarah, a solo van life traveler documenting her life on the road. What you just heard was the tail end of a night. A man tried to break into her van, then threatened her. When she refused to let him in, she's safe now, unharmed. But it took her 2 months before she could bring herself to edit this footage at all. 2 days before the incident, Sarah was deep in the woods, grounded and at peace. Her next stop, Asheville, North Carolina, a city she picked partly because it had a gym on her routine.
So the first night in the city, I decided to spend the night at a Cracker Barrel, and here there were some other RVs around, and I had a very peaceful sleep.
Cracker Barrel lots function like Walmarts, safe, common overnight stops for travelers passing through. Her first night was uneventful. She decided to stay a second night, this time at a different location across town, quieter, with good reviews. By the time the restaurant closed, Sarah was alone in the lot. Stove out, propane hose connected, cooking dinner. That's when the knock came.
Know her, please leave me be.
A man begins banging on her side door. Sarah cuts the lights and sound, hoping it might be police. It isn't. He bangs again, this time on the double doors at the back.
Oh my gosh, what just happened?
Okay, so I'm safe right now, but I just had my first knock on the door. That was not the cops. He was complaining about a girl that worked at the Cracker Barrel and, it broke her heart and thought that she was in my van. He says that he's seen my van there many times, which is definitely false.
The man demands she come out to prove she isn't someone else, a woman he claims broke his heart. He insists he's seen her van before. She hasn't been in the city more than 2 nights. Sarah recognizes the signs of someone under the influence, present in body but not reachable.
So when he continued to not leave and was trying to go to every door of the van, I quickly unhooked my propane, put some things away, made sure my drawer was closed, and then drove down the street. So I got around the corner, called the cops, and then from there I drove about 10 miles up the road.
Once clear of the lot, she calls the police, gives a description, and keeps driving, putting real distance between herself and the location rather than waiting to see what happens next. She doesn't sleep much that night, adrenaline still running, but by morning, she's parked somewhere in the Blue Ridge Mountains, safe, watching daylight replace what had been a frightening night. After the video went up, viewers weighed in heavily on what they would have done differently. One former truck driver with over 4 decades on the road said the safest move is to never engage with an intruder at all. Leave immediately and let a good dog serve as an early warning system before it ever comes to that. Another viewer pointed to the exact moment things could have gone differently, arguing the only real mistake was pausing to talk at all. Instead of starting the van, Sarah's own reflection afterward centered on one idea. Staying calm doesn't mean staying passive. It means staying clear enough to act instead of react. She admits she almost didn't tell anyone what happened. Held back by a sense of shame she later chose to let go of. To this day, the man was never identified. Case 2. Satan's Castle. This is Mike, a travel YouTuber known online as Fearless and Far. He's exploring a remote, centuries-old fortress in Turkey, alone, with no guide and no plan beyond curiosity.
We found the secret entrance to Satan's Castle. But look, the sun's almost down over the mountain. It's only like 3:30 here. I've got to find this place to camp before the sun drops because it's going to get cold.
The fortress dates back to the Bronze Age, thousands of years of conquest layered into the same stone walls. Locals call it Satan's Castle, tied to old legends of a demon said to have claimed it. Mike doesn't believe the stories. He came to explore, not to be scared off by folklore.
Oh no. It's a light. Is this place lit up at night? Oh, but the cables are cut. Look at that.
Streetlights line the path leading up to the castle, but the wiring inside has been deliberately severed. Mike assumes it's just vandalism. He has no idea this single detail will define the rest of his night.
All right. It's getting cold. I've decided on a spot. We're gonna sleep right here next to the tower.
With the sun almost gone, Mike sets up camp inside the ruins themselves. Tent, fire, dinner, all within the walls of a fortress that stood abandoned for over 2,000 years.
I don't have my head torch. My head torch is one of the most important things I put in my backpack. It's always there. Always. And it's not there today.
His headlamp is missing, left somewhere back near the entrance. With night fully set in, he lights a torch instead and sets off alone to retrace his steps and find it.
A gunshot. I didn't hear it, and I continued around the side of the castle in view of the path. Two more gunshots.
Guys, someone came with a gun and fired shots at the castle.
Gunfire erupts near the castle walls, close enough that Mike can hear the rounds pass over him. He has seconds to decide, hold his position, and hope it's a misunderstanding, or run into unfamiliar terrain in the dark with no light source. He runs.
Everything behind. That's them there with a flashlight. You hear those gunshots? They don't want me here.
He abandons his tent, his gear, everything, moving blind through rocky, unfamiliar ground at night, while gunfire continues behind him. His only option is to reach out to a friend and hope help arrives before whoever is shooting does.
He tells me the police have arrived, but they arrived an hour ago, trying to apprehend a treasure hunter and a potential terrorist at Satan's castle. The terrorist and treasure hunter was me.
The gunfire wasn't random. It was military police, dispatched an hour earlier after locals reported a stranger with unusual equipment entering a historic site with its lights deliberately cut. The same wiring Mike had noticed hours before, dismissed as vandalism.
How many bullets did you shoot?
Four or five.
5 from a pistol and 3 from a AK-47 or something similar.
Face to face with the officers who'd been firing at him, Mike learns just how close the night came to ending very differently. 7 or 8 rounds fired at a man they believed was either looting the site or planning something far worse.
The locals that saw me come in, they saw a strange car park, a guy walk out with all this weird equipment. No one really does this stuff, right? And so they called the authorities.
The full picture comes together the next day. The castle's lights exist specifically to deter treasure hunters from damaging the site at night. When Mike arrived after dark, with foreign plates on his rental car and camera gear that looked to a stranger like excavation equipment, the report to police wrote itself. It took most of the night before anyone realized the terrorist and the treasure hunter were both just one traveler filming a video. In the comments, one local viewer confirmed exactly why the response was so severe. The site had recently been damaged by real treasure hunters, prompting armed protection from the community itself. Other viewers were blunter about the lesson buried in the whole ordeal. To this day, the encounter stands as one of the more surreal near misses in Mike's travels. A night that began with the legend about a demon guarding an ancient fortress and ended with real gunfire, real police, and a mistaken identity that very nearly cost him his life. Case 3, The Beach. This is David, known online as Overland Nomad. He is solo camping on a beach in South Padre Island, Texas. 20 miles of empty coastline, no law enforcement, no other campers, just him, his dog, and the Gulf. He had no reason to expect anything to go wrong. He sets up camp, cooks dinner, and settles in for the night. Then through his camper window, he sees a light moving toward him in the dark. A woman, alone, approaching his camp in the middle of the night on a beach where nobody goes.
I kid you not, I was cooking and I was just having to stare through the window and I see a light like coming up, like someone walking. And it freaked me out. I got my protection and I grabbed Piper because Piper will attack. And yeah, it was a lady. I saw there was a car that went up to the East Cut. And I do know that there's one car out there. I could see its lights, and I guess they're stuck. But look, I would love to help, but I'm by myself. There's no one out here. And I don't know if it's a trap. I don't know.
She tells him her car is stuck. She needs help. David offers to call someone for her. She says no.
That was a weird situation. I got a really bad vibe about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and skedaddle because it just didn't sound right. She had a freaking phone. I offered her to make a phone call. She said no. I don't know. And, you know, I might sound like a jerk, but I don't know, man. I'm out here by myself. There's no patrolling law enforcement out here. You're on your own, like the Wild West. Last thing I want to happen is get jumped or robbed or something.
She said her phone had no signal, but David had signal at that exact location, and she had a phone. A woman alone on a 20-mile empty beach at night, approaching a solo camper, refusing a phone call. After the video went online, viewers who watched immediately flagged it. One said the woman was sent as bait. Another shared a near identical experience, someone claiming to need help, a drone sent up to check, 4 men hiding nearby, waiting. David starts thinking about what he knows about this stretch of coastline.
It's happened before here at the Access 6 where they dump bodies, they traffic things across the cut. It happens. There's illegal activity that happens out here for sure. Do I want any part of it? No, I don't. So
Access 6, a remote coastal entry point where bodies have been found, where trafficking routes cross, where nobody's coming to help. He calls 911.
I called 911. I called the county just to report it. And they said they couldn't do much. They're like, we can't send anyone out there to like rescue or anything. Like they're on their own on that one.
Even the police dispatcher told him to leave. He packs everything, drives south, goes home. Then he notices something that unsettled him more than anything else.
You barked when I like jumped out of the truck. You should have had my back on that one. Piper starts barking once I come out. She's like, oh, okay, someone's here. Piper was just hungry.
His dog, who barks at everything, didn't make a sound when the woman approached in the dark. What makes this the most unsettling case in this video is what didn't happen. No confrontation, no chase, no violence, just a light moving toward him in the dark. A woman who wouldn't take a phone call, and a decision made fast enough that we'll never know what the alternative would have looked like. He drove home, his dinner still uncooked, and whatever was waiting out there on that beach, it stayed there. Case 4, the van camp attack. This is Brendan, a solo van life camper who documents overnight stays across the UK. This is one of the worst nights he's had in years of camping. Brendan sets off for a familiar route, a walk near an old mine, followed by an overnight stay at Berry Ditches, a wooded hilltop spot. Nothing about the plan looks risky. It's a route he's driven before.
The Shropshire Hills aren't looking particularly scenic at the moment.
Thick fog rolls in the moment he arrives. Visibility drops to almost nothing. He walks anyway, refusing to let the weather cancel the trip entirely.
Oh my god, you can just see from that little tiny thumbnail there that there's some kind of view about an half-hour's walk away, but it is absolutely pointless in weather like today.
The walk gives him nothing. No view, no payoff, just fog and silence, broken only by birdsong. He heads back to the van and drives on to the night's parking spot.
Now, Bury Ditches, from what I can remember on the times that I've been there, isn't really that well known for campers to spend overnight. I don't think it's on Park for Night.
It's an isolated spot, not a listed or commonly used overnight location. Brendan arrives early, before dark, and settles in for the evening.
Why hasn't... Have I got enough to stay warm tonight?
His diesel heater won't start. He checks the fuse in the dark, can't confirm if it's blown, and gives up for the night. Temperatures are dropping toward freezing, and he has no heat.
Why park right next to me? I heard what sounded like teenagers laughing and giggling before.
Just as he's about to get into bed, he hears voices outside, young, loud, close. He waits it out. After 10 minutes, they leave, and he assumes the disturbance is over. He gets into bed, 3 layers on, trying to stay warm in the cold. And for a moment, it seems like the worst of the night is behind him. It isn't.
Just had someone pull up outside the van. What the f was that? Where's the light? Right, I think they've just driven off. Where the hell are my keys? Right, flipping midnight.
A vehicle stops right beside him, midnight. No warning, no reason for anyone to be parking next to a lone van on an unlisted hilltop spot in the dark. Something hits the van, repeatedly. Brendan can't see who's out there, just the sound of impact against the bodywork in the dark, moments after the same group had already been circling the car park once that night. He waits until they drive off, then leaves the location entirely, rather than risk them coming back.
I knew when they first turned up and parked right outside the van here, playing loud music, that there was going to be trouble. I swear, I'm pretty sure it's the same people that came back.
What makes it worse, this wasn't a random passerby. It was, by his account, the same group returning, first to test the area, then to come back and act. He drives home in the middle of the night rather than search for another spot in the dark.
I heard somebody say my name, Brendan, on the second time that they came back.
The detail that unsettles him most isn't the eggs on the paintwork. It's this. Whoever came back knew exactly who he was. In the comments, Brendan addressed it directly, telling viewers he believes the attack was targeted, though he still doesn't know why. Other viewers pushed back on how the night was handled, pointing out that Brendan had headlights he didn't use and stepped out with a weak light source instead. Several commenters raised the same concern, that whoever targeted him wasn't acting alone. To this day, Brendan doesn't know who returned to his van that night, why they knew his name, or whether the encounter was random at all. What he does know is that a quiet, unlisted parking spot in the Shropshire Hills was, for at least one night, not as isolated as it looked.